Good morning. The markets are opening after a holiday. So during this holiday, we have some positive news from the international markets. All the European and US indices were positive on these days. Yeah, I mean on Wednesday and Thursday, both the European and US indices closed on a positive note. So if you look at the US market, even yesterday itself it has rallied over 2%. So it is back to that 11,000 mark again. It went much below 11,000 level and was close to 10,000, and it staged a 3 days consecutive rally and could close in a positive zone for the continuous 3 days. The European indices also were in the positive zone in last 2 days because the European Central Bank and Bank of England, both the banks announced some measures for the banks. That measures are like repurchasing of bonds and issuing some very long-term loans for the banks, which will boost its current liquidity problem and the capitalization problem. All these things will be sorted out by this step by the European Central Bank and Bank of England. So that is the current worries of global banks crisis for the time being, and that induced some confidence in those markets, and all the markets could recover a little. In the US market, the another cue was the jobless claims data. So it gave a data which was lower than the expected rate. So that also gave some confidence for the markets, and markets could recover, and the 3 days consecutive gain was on back of this factor also. On the commodity side, crude rallied over 3%. It was trading around $100 last week, and it is back to 105 a barrel now. And the gold is also trading around $1,650 an ounce. So these are about the commodity segment. And back to the domestic indices. It's going on for some time that we are in the range, and whenever we come closer to that upper side of the range, some negative news hit the market and markets are reacting. And again, when it is approaching the lower edge of the band, we get some positive news and immediately we get some pullback. And for the last 2 months, it's going on. So again, I think we have to patiently look for the market to break out from this region. Otherwise, 300 to 400 points range, it's a little difficult to do in the equity segment, but there are a lot of opportunities in the option segment. Maybe whenever it comes closer to that range, high or low, we should look for the opposite side options. Like when it goes near to the upper range, maybe we can look for the lower strike the put options, and when it comes closer to that lower range, we can look for some higher strike the call options. That is the only way to do something in this market or sustain in this market. And in between that 5 to 10% movement will be there in some specific stocks, and if we are able to identify that there also we can make some money. And in last sessions, a few days we were seeing heavy selling in bank shares. So we expect a sort of pullback in bank shares today, because if you look at State Bank, it fell by almost 15% in just about 4 to 5 days. So this is a time for a small pullback. The SBI can pull back to 1,800 levels, and the shares like ICICI Bank and Axis Bank, which hit 52-week lows last week, can also witness some kind of rebound in this session. And in Nifty, again Nifty is back to 4,900 levels. Today it is likely to trade something a bit above that 4,900 levels because of the strong global cues. The other Asian markets are also positive, tracking the developments in Europe and US markets. The Chinese market is shut today, it's not there, and only the Hong Kong and Nikkei we are tracking those two markets actively. So those markets are trading about 2 to 3% higher. So we can also expect a positive opening of about 1% or slightly above 1%, and we feel that momentum is likely to continue during the day. So the main level we have to watch for is 4,950 for the intraday, and the major resistance level is at 5,030. So that is supposed that is the settlement closing 5,030 we were looking before, on the first day of new settlement, that was not crossing I mean, even it was not crossing above that 5030 level. And when it pulls back, that is the key level we have to watch for. Once it is breaking 5030, that is a settlement crossing, we may expect some sort of short covering and some positive momentum in the market, which can last for some time. And the lower range still at 4720, that is a major support level, and intraday it can take support somewhere around 4850 levels.